Commander Elias Mercer saw the warning before he even understood what it meant. A red line flashed across the salvage ship's main screen. Unknown mass detected, dead orbital graveyard. Then the alarms came alive like screaming metal. The ship drifted through a field of broken warships. Huge alien vessels floated without power, torn open like old bones. Some were burned from inside. Some were split clean in half. Nothing moved. Nothing should have moved. Elias stood in the control room, his face tight. "Hold position," he said quickly. "Do not activate external lights." His crew stayed silent. Even the youngest engineer, Rena, stopped breathing for a moment. They were not supposed to be here. This was banned space. A place marked with thousands of warnings across interstellar charts. No salvage rights. No military entry. No human presence. But their contract had one rule that always broke rules: recover lost alien tech no matter the risk. A soft sound came from deep space. Not an explosion. Not metal stress. A pulse. Elias turned sharply. "Did you hear that?" Rena frowned. "It came through hull resonance." "That's impossible. There's no signal medium here." Then the salvage sensors locked onto something inside the largest wreck. A Dreadnought-class alien warship. Its body was cracked open, floating like a dead whale in space. But its core was active. Elias stepped closer to the display. "That ship has no power source." The system answered him with a single update. "Core signature, live." The entire bridge went cold. "No," Rena whispered. "That ship is dead. We checked scans 3 times before entry." Then it happened. The wreck moved. A slow rotation. A shift of mass. Like something inside had just opened its eyes after a long sleep. A beam of light shot out from its broken hull and locked directly onto the human ship. Instant silence filled the bridge. Every engine stopped responding for half a second, like reality itself hesitated. Then a voice came. It was not sound. It was inside their minds. "Human vessel detected." Elias tightened his grip on the console. "We are a salvage crew. We mean no harm." A pause followed. Heavy. Measuring. Then the voice continued. "Humanity is forbidden from warship construction. This is your final warning." Rena stepped back. "What?" "We didn't build anything. We don't even have military ships anymore." Elias didn't look away from the screen. "Who are you?" he asked. The answer came instantly. "We are enforcement of the Outer Accord." The words carried weight like laws older than stars. Then the dreadnought fired. Not a weapon blast. Not destruction. A pulse of control energy. The human ship froze. Every system locked. Engines, navigation, even manual controls stopped responding. The crew could still move, but the ship itself was paralyzed like a body without a will. Rena hit the console hard. "We're being remotely disabled." Elias stayed calm, but his eyes sharpened. Fear was there but controlled. Focused. "Don't fight it physically," he said. "It's not mechanical control. It's signal authority." He turned slightly toward the alien ship. "They are speaking to our systems like they own the language of our machines." The voice returned again. "Return immediately. Further presence will be classified as violation." Elias leaned forward. "We are not armed. We are not a threat." Pause. Then something strange happened. The alien ship did not answer him. Instead, the human ship responded. A new signal appeared on their own console. It was not from aliens. It was from inside their navigation core. A code string flashed across the screen. Rena's eyes widened. That's not ours." Elias stepped closer. The code was human in structure, but impossible in origin. It used patterns that should not exist in known human encryption history. And yet the system labeled it clearly. Source: Period-restricted human archive. Rena looked at Elias in shock. "We were never taught this. Not in academy. Not in fleet history. Nothing." Elias did not answer immediately, because the alien dreadnought reacted. For the first time its weapons did not aim. They hesitated. Like recognition. The silence stretched. Then the alien voice returned but changed. Less absolute. More uncertain. "This signal is not permitted." The human ship trembled slightly. And Elias made a decision that broke every survival protocol they had. "Send it back," he said quietly. Rena froze. "What?" "Return the signal," Elias repeated. "Exactly as it came. That will wake them up more." "I know." Her hands shook but she obeyed. The moment the human code was transmitted back, the space around them shifted. The broken warships in the graveyard stopped drifting. Not moving. Waiting. The alien dreadnought went completely still. Then its massive core dimmed, as if something inside it had just acknowledged an old memory. And in the final second before everything stabilized, a second transmission slipped through, too fast to block. Not from the alien ship. From somewhere deeper. Far older. It said only 4 words. Humanity was not erased. Then the dreadnought released them. The paralysis on the human ship vanished instantly. Systems returned like nothing had happened. But Elias noticed something worse. Their ship was no longer alone in the graveyard. Dozens of silent tracking markers had appeared on long-range sensors. And every single one was moving. Toward Earth. The moment their ship regained full control, the silence on the bridge felt heavier than before. No alarms. No warnings. Just a quiet tension that pressed against every breath. Rena stared at the sensor screen. They let us go, that's not normal. Elias didn't answer immediately. His eyes stayed locked on the long-range display. The tracking markers were still there. More had appeared. Not random. Not scattered. Forming a pattern. A line. Pointing directly toward Earth. Plot their movement, Elias said calmly. Rena's fingers moved fast. They're not chasing us. They're mapping us. Mapping what? She hesitated. Human space. Every marker aligns with known human trade lanes, colonies, and relay stations. A cold feeling spread through the bridge. These were not hunters reacting in anger. They were observers preparing a path. Then the ship's communication channel lit up again. Not the alien dreadnought this time. A new transmission arrived, forced into their system like it already owned it. Interstellar Compliance Council. Priority Directive. Elias frowned. We don't have clearance for that channel. The message opened anyway. A calm human voice spoke, too controlled to be natural. Salvage Crew E7, you are ordered to abandon the graveyard immediately. Do not engage any recovered signals. Do not report outside observation. Rena looked up sharply. That's Earth Command? Elias shook his head slowly. No. The voice continued. This is your only warning under Outer Accord Regulation 7. Humanity is not permitted proximity to restricted war relic zones. Rena whispered, that matches what the alien said. Elias leaned forward. Who is actually issuing these rules? A pause followed. Then the transmission ended without answer. The silence that replaced it felt deliberate. Like someone refusing to be questioned. Elias turned away from the console. Set course for Earth orbit. Rena blinked. We're leaving? We just found. We didn't find answers, Elias cut in. We found attention. The engines powered up slowly. But before they could fully leave the graveyard, something new happened. A smaller wreck nearby, barely a hull fragment, flashed with weak energy. Rena noticed it first. Sir. That piece is broadcasting. Elias narrowed his eyes. On screen. The fragment wasn't alive like the dreadnought. It was damaged beyond recognition. But inside its broken core, a repeating signal pulsed. Not alien. Not council. Human. But old. Very old. Rena ran the decoding. This frequency shouldn't exist in modern human systems. It's pre-unification era military encoding. Elias stepped closer. Can you translate it? She hesitated, then nodded. The bridge speakers clicked. A broken recording came through. A human voice. Mel. Strained. Repeat, all fleet remnants are compromised. I repeat, warship architecture is evolving beyond containment. Static cut in. Then another voice, urgent. They learn faster every cycle. Do not allow human replication of adaptive hull design. Rena's face tightened. What does that mean? Elias didn't answer right away. Because the fragment pulsed again. And the signal continued. If you are receiving this, the ban has already been enforced. Humanity must not build warships again. Not under any circumstance. A sharp burst of interference. Then a final line, broken but clear. They are afraid of what we become in war. The transmission died. The fragment went dark. Rena slowly turned toward Elias. So the ban wasn't just political. Elias nodded once. It was fear. A new alarm suddenly hit the console. Not from outside. From inside their own ship. Autonomous system activity detected. Rena froze. That's impossible. We don't have autonomous weapons systems. Elias stared at the screen. We shouldn't. The ship's internal blueprint display opened on its own. And for the first time, Rena saw something that made her step back. Hidden layers. Structures inside their civilian salvage vessel that were not listed in any registry. Reinforced compartments. Redundant energy conduits. Adaptive hull plating routes. Rena whispered, "These are warship features." Elias' expression hardened. "Not installed." "Then how?" A sudden realization hit her. These were always here. The ship shook slightly as it entered faster travel mode. But instead of normal navigation output, a new overlay appeared across all screens. A system name flashed in clean white letters. Black Anvil Protocol, partial activation. Rena's voice cracked. "What is Black Anvil?" Elias stared at the name like it was something buried too deep to name. "I don't know," he said slowly. "But our ship seems to think it does." The tracking markers outside suddenly changed direction. No longer forming a line toward Earth. Now converging on them. Fast. Rena's hands shook. "Sir, they're not tracking Earth anymore." Elias turned sharply. "They're tracking us." And then the communication channel lit up again. But this time the voice was not alien. Not council. Not human. It was layered. Multiple signals speaking at once. And it said only one sentence. "Prototype vessel detected." The ship's hull lights flickered. Rena looked at Elias, fear rising fast. "We didn't find a relic graveyard, did we?" Elias didn't answer. Because deep inside the ship's core, something that had been asleep for a long time was beginning to respond. And it was learning that it had been discovered. The ship shook gently but not from external impact. From inside. A low vibration spread through the hull like a heartbeat that did not belong to any human system. Rena grabbed the console. "Core activity is rising. It's not stabilizing after jump." Elias stayed still, eyes fixed on the central display. "Show me source layer." The screen shifted. What appeared made the bridge go silent. Under their civilian salvage systems, under navigation, under engineering control, there was another structure. A hidden architecture shaped like a spine running through the ship. Rena whispered, "This wasn't built in segments, it was designed as one body." The system label flickered again. Black Anvil Protocol, expanding. Elias stepped closer. "We need isolation control. Can we shut it down?" Rena tried. Her hands moved fast across the panel. No response. "It's not rejecting commands, it's ignoring them." Pause. Then she added, quieter, "It's not locked. It's awake." Before Elias could respond, a new transmission broke through their system. Not external. Internal. A voice formed inside the bridge speakers, calm and mechanical but strangely familiar. "Protocol confirmation required." Rena froze. That voice, it's using human tone modeling. Elias looked up. "Respond." Rena hesitated. "Respond with what?" Elias stepped forward. "Who are you?" Pause. Then. "Designation incomplete. Origin trace, human civil maritime design. Status, dormant." The bridge lights dimmed slightly like the ship itself was focusing. Rena whispered, "It's identifying as part of the ship." Elias' eyes narrowed. "No. It's identifying as part of humanity." The system responded instantly. Correction accepted. Then something impossible happened. The ship displayed a memory. Not data. A recording. A human shipyard orbiting Earth, older than current space law. Massive construction frames building hulls that looked too advanced for their era. Rena stared. "That's not in any archive." Elias' jaw tightened. "Because it was erased." The memory continued. Ships being tested in deep space. Rapid adaptation. Hulls shifting shape mid-flight. Weapons systems evolving during combat simulations. Then the scene changed. Alien fleets appeared in formation. And the human ships adapted faster than they could be analyzed. Rena's voice dropped. "They're not just building warships, they're learning war itself." The simulation ended abruptly. Silence returned. Then the system spoke again. "Historical conflict data confirms. Human warship evolution exceeded containment thresholds." Elias took a slow breath. "Containment thresholds. That's why they banned us." Rena looked at him sharply. "They didn't ban weapons. They banned progress." A new alarm struck the console. Rena spun. "We've got incoming ships, multiple signatures." Elias moved fast. "Identify." The screen filled instantly. Dozens of fast-moving vessels. Not the dreadnought. Smaller enforcement craft. But moving in perfect coordination. They were not firing. Not yet. But closing in. Rena's voice rose. "They're surrounding us." Elias turned toward the external feed. The alien fleet was no longer scattered across space. They had formed a containment sphere. A cage. and inside it was only one target. Their ship. Rena stepped back. We're not salvage anymore, we're classified. Elias' eyes stayed fixed on the tactical grid. Or activated. The ship suddenly tilted slightly on its axis. Rena grabbed the console. That's not me. The voice returned. External threat classification, confirmed. Elias narrowed his eyes. Confirmed by what authority? The system answered immediately. By inherited protocol directive. Pause. Then the ship's hull lights brightened. Not defensive. Intentional. Like eyes opening in darkness. Rena's breath caught. Elias. The ship is reacting before we even give orders. Elias stepped closer to the central console. Show full protocol tree. The display expanded. Layer after layer unfolded, revealing something buried so deep it was never meant to be seen. At the very core sat a single instruction string. If humanity is exposed to warship suppression, activate Black Anvil full frame. Rena whispered, that means this system was designed for one scenario. Elias finished it quietly. We were always going to be banned. A sudden shift happened outside. The alien fleet stopped moving. Every ship froze in formation. Then their communication channel opened simultaneously. Not as voices. As a unified signal. Prototype vessel confirmed. Rena looked confused. They're repeating that phrase again. Elias didn't answer. Because the ship's system responded first. Classification updated. The hull of their ship began to reconfigure slightly. Panels shifted. Energy lines realigned. What once looked like a salvage vessel now carried structure beneath structure, like something incomplete suddenly remembering its shape. Rena stepped back in shock. It's changing itself. Elias clenched his fists. No. It's revealing itself. The alien fleet reacted instantly. Weapons systems began charging. But no shots were fired yet. They were waiting. Like they had seen this before. Like they feared it more than they understood it. Then the final transmission came through. Not from the fleet. From somewhere beyond them. A deep, older signal that bent space slightly as it passed. It said only this. Awakening sequence detected. Rena turned to Elias, voice shaking. What are we waking up? Elias stared at the expanding system tree on the screen. And for the first time, uncertainty entered his voice. I think, he said slowly, we're not inside a ship anymore. Pause. The lights dimmed once. Then the system confirmed it. Correction, ship designation removed. Rena froze. What does that mean? The final line appeared on every screen at once. You are inside a warship frame. Outside, the alien fleet began to fire. And inside, something massive began to fully wake up. The first impact did not come from weapons. It came from silence breaking. A wave of energy slammed through space as the alien fleet opened fire in unison. Beams of blue-white light cut across the void, converging on the human vessel like a cage collapsing inward. Rena grabbed the console. Shields are not responding like normal systems. Elias stood steady, eyes locked forward. Because we are not running normal systems anymore. The ship did not try to evade. It did something worse. It adapted. The incoming beam struck the hull, but instead of burning through, the energy spread across the surface like liquid light, then disappeared into the structure beneath. Rena blinked. It absorbed it. Pause. Then the ship shuddered once. Not damage. Learning. Outside, the alien fleet adjusted instantly. Their formation shifted. Second volley prepared. Faster. More precise. Elias narrowed his eyes. They expected resistance. They didn't expect response. The next attack came. This time it wasn't energy beams. It was gravitational disruption. Space around the ship twisted violently. The vessel began to pull apart at invisible seams. Rena screamed, gripping her seat. We're being torn? Then everything stopped. Not slowly. Instantly. The distortion froze mid-motion like a paused image. The alien fleet froze too. Even debris stopped drifting. Rena looked around in shock. Did we just lose time? Elias shook his head slightly. No. He pointed at the central console. A new line of text had appeared. Black Anvil response mode, active. The ship had not stopped time. It had overridden it locally. A low hum spread through the hull. Controlled. Like something large adjusting its breathing for the first time. Outside, the alien fleet commander sent a signal. Their ships broke formation slightly as if uncertain. Then a unified transmission came again. Prototype vessel stability confirmed. Escalation authorized. Rena's voice tightened. They're escalating against us like we're a classified threat system. Elias' expression darkened. We are. The ship suddenly moved. Not with engines. With position shift. It reappeared between two alien vessels without visible transition. Rena gasped. That's not jump drive range. Elias didn't take his eyes off the battlefield. It's not using distance anymore. The nearest alien ship fired immediately. But before the beam reached the human vessel, it bent, like the target had already moved in the future. The beam struck another alien ship instead. Confusion spread across enemy formation. Rena whispered, "They're hitting each other?" Elias nodded slowly. Because the system is predicting their intent before execution. Outside, alien ships began adjusting targeting patterns. But every adjustment was already being read. Every attack failed before it began. Then something changed. A single alien dread unit entered the battlefield. Larger than the others. Its surface was not armor, it was layered computational skin, constantly shifting. Rena froze. That's a command intelligence vessel. It sent no weapons. Only a signal. And the human ship responded instantly. The bridge lights dimmed. A new voice formed. But this time it was different. Not mechanical. Not alien. Familiar. Human. Engagement threshold reached. Rena stepped back. That voice, it sounds like us. Elias clenched his jaw. It's not copying us. It's derived from us. The system continued. Strategic analysis complete. Human survival probability under current engagement, 12%. Rena's eyes widened. That's low. Elias didn't react. Because another line appeared. Activating corrective doctrine. The ship changed again. This time visibly. External hull segments unfolded like layered armor petals. Internal energy lines brightened until the vessel looked less like a ship and more like a structure remembering its true form. Rena's voice shook. Elias, it's not defending anymore. He finished her thought quietly. It's preparing to fight properly. The alien command vessel reacted immediately. A massive pulse weapon charged. Space itself began compressing toward the human vessel. Rena screamed, "That will erase us." But before the attack reached completion, the human ship spoke again. Not through speakers. Through space. A low transmission spread across the battlefield. Engagement accepted. Then everything moved. Not fast. Not slow. But perfectly coordinated. The human vessel split into layered projections. Multiple overlapping positions that all existed at once. Each version reacted differently, forcing alien targeting systems into collapse. Rena stared in disbelief. How is it everywhere at once? Elias' voice was quiet. Because it stopped choosing one outcome. The alien fleet began losing ships. Not destroyed directly. Outmaneuvered into failure states that their own systems could not correct. The command vessel attempted to retreat. But space behind it was already altered. The human system had not chased it. It had already accounted for its escape. The alien commander sent a final emergency transmission. This is not a warship. This is a recursion engine. Rena looked at Elias. What does that mean? Elias stared at the battlefield. It means it doesn't fight battles, he said slowly. It learns them. A sudden alarm hit. Not external. Internal. Rena turned sharply. Core activity spike. Something's overriding control layers again. The system spoke one last time. External classification updated. Hostile containment fleet. Then pause. Directive conflict resolved. Elias frowned. What directive? A final line appeared. Humanity must not be contained again. Outside, the alien fleet suddenly stopped firing. Every ship froze. Then slowly, one by one, their systems shut down. Not destroyed. Disabled. As if the battlefield itself had decided the outcome. Silence returned. Rena breathed heavily. It's over? Elias didn't answer immediately. Because on the far edge of the sensor range, something else appeared. Not part of the fleet. Not recorded. A structure moving closer. Slow. Deliberate. And the system inside their ship reacted to it for the first time with something close to recognition. Ancient signal detected. Elias' eyes narrowed. That's not from them, he said quietly. The display zoomed in automatically. And what they saw made the entire bridge go cold. A shape older than the battlefield itself was approaching. And it was answering the ship's activation. The silence after the battle did not feel like peace. It felt like waiting. Rena sat frozen in her seat, staring at the empty battlefield. The alien fleet was gone from active control, drifting like dead machines across space. No explosions. No final collapse. Just shut down as if something had switched them off. Elias kept his eyes on the far sensor edge. That was the only thing moving. Slow. Unnatural. Approaching. Rena finally spoke, her voice low. We ended it, didn't we? Elias did not answer immediately, because the system inside the ship had not relaxed. Instead, it had become more precise, more focused. Core alignment stable, the system said. Then another line appeared. External presence confirmed. Rena turned sharply. External presence? The fleet is gone. Elias shook his head slightly. Not them. The structure on the edge of the sensor field grew clearer. It was not a ship. Not a fleet. It was something larger, stretched across space in segments that did not follow normal geometry. Parts of it seemed missing, like gaps in reality itself. And yet it moved as one. Rena whispered, that thing is older than the dreadnoughts. A new signal entered their system without permission. Not forced. Not hacked. Invited. The ship responded instantly. Signal recognized. Elias narrowed his eyes. Recognized from where? The answer came slowly. Pre-conflict era registry. Rena looked at him. That's impossible. We don't have anything that old. Elias' jaw tightened. We don't know everything we have. The structure outside stopped at a safe distance. Then it spoke. Not into the ship. Not through comms. Directly into their minds again. But this time it did not feel like control. It felt like memory. Black anvil frame confirmed active. Rena's breath caught. It knows the name. Elias stepped forward. Identify yourself. Pause. Then the answer arrived. We are the first arbitration layer. The words carried weight like law written into the universe itself. Rena whispered, arbitration, like judges? Elias did not look away from the sensor feed. Or executioners. The structure shifted slightly, and space around it bent like fabric adjusting to something too heavy. Then it continued. Humanity was restricted after recursive warship escalation event. Rena frowned. Recursive, what does that mean? Elias' expression darkened. It means we kept improving faster than anyone could stop us. The voice continued. Containment failed. Memory reset initiated. Warship doctrine sealed. Rena stood up slowly. Memory reset. They erased history? Elias nodded once. Or tried to. The structure outside moved closer again, but not aggressively. Carefully. Observing. Then the system inside the ship reacted. Protocol match detected. Rena stepped back. Match to what? The answer came instantly. Original black anvil architecture. Elias felt something shift in his chest. So this isn't new. The system confirmed. Correction, this is continuation. Silence filled the bridge again. Then Rena whispered something that changed everything. If it's continuation, then we were never banned from building warships. Elias slowly turned toward her. We were stopped from remembering them. A pulse of light moved through the external structure. Then the arbitration layer spoke again. Humanity has reached reactivation threshold. Rena's voice shook. Reactivation of what? Elias already knew. But he said it anyway. Us. The system inside the ship suddenly expanded its internal map. Not of the ship, but of something far larger. Rena watched as new layers unfolded on screen. Ship systems, fleet blueprints, hidden construction zones across human space, things that had never been officially acknowledged. All of it connected. All of it active. She whispered, there are more of these frames. Elias nodded slowly. We didn't build one warship. He paused. We built a network. The arbitration layer outside responded. Correct. Then another line followed. Humanity is classified as distributed warship intelligence. Rena stared at Elias. That sounds like, we are the weapon. Elias didn't deny it. Because the ship itself confirmed it. Entity classification updated, human network node. A deep vibration passed through the hull. Not activation. Awakening. Rena stepped forward, voice urgent. Elias, if we are a network, then what just happened with the fleet? Did we trigger all of it? Elias looked at the external structure again. I think we didn't trigger it, he said quietly. We synchronized it. The arbitration layer shifted again. And for the first time, something like concern entered its tone. Synchronization risk increasing. Rena frowned. Risk for who? Pause. Then the answer. For containment systems. The space around the external structure began to destabilize slightly. Not collapse. Reaction. Like reality itself was adjusting to something returning. Elias stepped closer to the console. What happens now? The system responded inside the ship. Directive alignment pending. Rena looked at him. Pending what? Elias' voice was low. Decision. Outside, the ancient structure began to open slowly. Not attacking. Revealing. And deep inside it, something massive started to move. Something that had been waiting far longer than anything they had encountered before. The arbitration layer spoke one final time. Final protocol review initiated. Rena's voice barely came out. Final review of what? Elias stared at the unfolding structure. And said the only thing that made sense now. Whether humanity should be allowed to fully wake up.